Hey, hey, it's Monday evening, 8 o'clock. This is our last event of the year. Can you believe it? I am currently going live for the first time on, I can hear my, okay, hold on. All right, I just muted my sound. I'm going live for the first time on Instagram. So, never done that before. And what's funny is I can hear myself back. So it's sort of a delayed thing. I don't know. I'm not going to look at it. It'll just confuse me. So, hello, hello. Let me know who's here. I see a few people are in. Let's see. It says Facebook is having trouble. Let's see. Give me 1 second, friends. Let's see who's on. Let me know who's here. Okay, I see a few people are here. Dorothy, so she gets in from Facebook, so I know she's good. Debbie, hi, Deb, you made it. Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. So glad you came. This is great. Oh, good. You guys are together. Awesome. Well, Dorothy, I can always count on you to include people to show up. Good job. Cool. Well, thanks so much. I'm really excited for tonight. And thank you for showing up. And I think a few more people are going to show up. There was a problem. So Dorothy, good. Nina's here. Yay, Nina. Nina's a very dear friend from Charleston here. And if you're also somebody who I've worked with. And anybody, while we're talking tonight, please feel free to put comments in and share thoughts and ideas. Tonight's really interesting because tonight's about where it all began for me. How did I get so into all this food and weight stuff, and where did all that come from? Sometimes you see people who have never experienced the problems and they supposedly have the solutions, maybe, maybe not. I actually had the problem and I am recovered. And so I do feel qualified to help people with problems that I've had. And it's compulsive overeating. And, you might say, well, what's compulsive overeating? I mean, what is compulsivity? What is that? It's binge eating. It's eating large quantities of food. If Margie was here right now, she would tell you that when I was a little girl, I would go to her house and her mother had this drawer in the den and this like pantry area with a little dining table. I guess that was like their eating area. And I would go for the drawer and go for whatever goodies I could find because we didn't have them in my house. But binge eating is large quantities of food, and it is a disease, and it's also known as bulimia. And symptoms vary for this. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on what is compulsive overeating because I want to share how I healed myself from this. And but symptoms vary. So not everybody with bulimia is making themselves throw up. Most of my deal was overeating, binge eating, and then later in life, when I got a little bit older and I understood that I could exercise and burn it off, I swam a lot in college. I tried some running. I didn't like running, but so symptoms vary with bulimia, and somebody might just be a binge eater, and that's a form of bulimia. Somebody might get themselves sick. That's a form of bulimia. Just like there are different forms and stages of, oh gosh, some of these other childhood things like, oh, help me out, friends. I'm kind of drawing a blank because I wasn't going to say anything about that tonight. But hey, Patricia, all right. And Davita's here. Awesome. So yeah, feel free to put comments, anything that you can do. Oh, Lisa said I'm freezing up. Your friends, am I freezing up or is it okay? Drop me a line if everything's working out for you. One of these Facebook channels isn't working, but one of them is. So anyway, let me know if you're having a problem with the video, with the live tonight. I'll check back in a minute. But anyway, so we're talking about compulsive overeating, and that was the beginning of my problem. Nina says it's okay on her end. Okay, super. Thank you. That was the beginning of my whole food problem. And, I'm not going to talk a whole bunch about me, but I am going to keep weaving my story in because that's how I know about this stuff. And I know that what I did worked, and I know it's helping other people. So, you know, I feel like, it's working. So I just haven't seen anything similar to like what I'm doing, working with the subconscious, that deep rooted emotional triggering problem. So that's what I deal with. Which leads me to this. So emotions and states of being drive behaviors. So I have the next little blurb here is sadness was a problem of mine, loneliness, anxiety, tiredness. Now, this is interesting. People say, what do you mean when you're tired? Most people will go to sleep. No, I didn't know how to unwind. So I would overeat, which would in turn create a sugar crash or some kind of food crash, which would make me tired, which would slow me down. So that was a trigger for me, and I had to learn how to deal with when I'm tired. Maybe I just need to go relax or take a walk or do something, get some fresh air, anything but not binge eat. And we can get more into, some of my strategies, but there's a bigger picture. Some people, it's when they're excited about something. So they binge eat, they overeat, or they're nervous about something. Maybe, like in college, nervous about exams. A lot of people gained weight in college. Maybe it was the drinking and the big, fattening breakfast the next day. I don't know. Um, but different emotions and different states of being. And that's what I say, like being tired, that's not an emotion, it's a state of being. Excited is emotional, anxiety is emotion and state of being. Nervousness is more of a state of being than it is to me. Anyways, I could probably look it up and see what it says. But those are the things that are common. And you might not be a compulsive overeater, you might not have crossed that line, but you might have times in life when, maybe you're not the overeater type, maybe you're the undereater type. And I know that there are people like that as well that have the opposite. And some people have both. I wasn't blessed with both. I was blessed with the overeating situation. And I'm just wondering, while we're talking about all this, I'd really like you to be thinking about anybody you know who perhaps suffers from compulsive overeating or food disorders or really just struggling with the whole diet mentality. Anybody like that? Because you're going to hear some stuff about me, what I do, and um, I have a great program I'm going to kick off. Well, make it available how do I say this? I'm going to promote it next week. I'm going to wait till December 27th. I'm going to promote this really cool opportunity to work with me. So that's coming up next week. Think about people that might in need of this, who might finally, like I was, just want to kick off this problem. What happened to me was, and I'll tell you this next slide first. So I am a certified advanced clearing practitioner, as well as becoming certified as a functional nutrition and lifestyle counselor. Now, I am serving in that position and doing that work, but I'm getting certified. So it doesn't even matter, what you know, who you know, and I don't have to be certified, by the way. It's not legally required for me to have any certification to do what I do. But I like certifications, and I think they make me feel comfortable. So that's what I'm doing. Plus, it helps me learn more. And I'm going to hit this next one, and then I'm going to tell you how I help myself. But in a clearing practitioner, what we do and what I do, I replace deep-rooted emotions that trigger harmful behaviors and thoughts with empowering emotions. You might say, wow, that sounds like really deep or really difficult, or how do I know I could even deal with this or do this? It's really cool because I am extremely intuitive, and you know yourself better than I'll ever know you. So between my knowledge and intuition and the way you know yourself and what bothers you, you would be in touch with yourself, we identify your triggering emotions and we remove them. I'm not gonna go through it right now. I learned how to do this over 11 years, and when I learned how to do this, it changed my life. And I'm gonna take you now through steps of things to think about after clearing how to clean up the overeating problem, the disease, and how we then structure and focus. And these are some of the steps that I'm gonna be taking people on. I'm gonna have just a limited number of people that I am gonna take on. It's a trial thing with a new app I'm creating, so I need a very small group that I can work tight with, and that'll be coming up next week. But this is how I help myself, and for those of you who have known me for years, which a lot of people here have, let's see if anything else I need to respond to. No. Okay, thank you. Um, if you've known me for a while, you've known I've kept this weight off. I've gotten healthier. I've improved my lifestyle. I've improved my life, my everything. No matter what, gone through traumas, I never slid back. So why? Because it's the subconscious. Diets, they don't work. These other things, they really don't work. What works is really focusing on what is triggering, getting rid of that, empowering yourself with something else, and then focusing on these items like hunger and fullness. I learned how to do this. And I'm going to share with you that when I started to just just all clicked, and I decided just wanted to do a shake at lunchtime. For me, I don't really like dealing with lunchtime. I'm not that hungry, but you need something, or I need something. I like to eat a great breakfast, and then lunch I don't really like much. So I would do a shake, and the shake had something in it called crave, which helped me not crave anything, and I felt full. It was a lot of protein, and at about 4 or 5 o'clock, I would feel a little hungry, but I didn't have that driving compulsivity. I wasn't feeling compulsive about eating, I was just hungry. But because most of my life I fed myself, and I never really felt hungry much, I overfed myself. It was new for me to feel hungry without feeling, like, driven to fill my body up. And when that happened, I literally would hold on to myself, hug myself, say or rub my belly, rub my belly to say, "It's okay. It's okay to feel hungry." I wasn't starving. I wasn't lightheaded. There was nothing wrong with me. I just felt hungry. Never had that. I mean, not really. So, you know, that I know some of you might be thinking, "Wow, that's kinda weird," but that's my story. And, I had to learn how to understand what was hunger for me, when did I really need to eat, and when was it okay to sort of let my body process the food and perhaps feel a little bit hungry. So that's my story, and what I love about what I do is we are all unique, and everybody's terrain, the soil under, right, the innards of all of us, we're all different. It's funny, I was talking to my dear friend this morning, and we're gonna meet next week, and "Oh, maybe I can make you lunch." I said, "I don't really eat lunch. I'll probably have a big breakfast, and maybe I'll bring a protein bar or something." She said, "Oh, that's funny because I don't really eat breakfast." It's not. Nothing's right or wrong. It's what feels best for you, and that's what I help people do too, is figure out what is best for you. It's gonna help you feel good. So, to understand what's hunger and what's full and what's overfull, right? We don't really wanna be overfull. And then to learn to choose foods that are satisfying. I think several of you here have downloaded the book. If you've downloaded my book and looked at it, Flip the Weight Loss Switch, will you drop a comment like "got it"? Just put "got it" in the comments if you have that book. It's a free download. I just wanna know how many people have that book, because in that, I ask you to go through, what foods do you like? That helps me help you because I'm not here to change somebody's entire kitchen around. Let's see what you like. Let's talk about what would be helpful more or less with the foods that you like, and then let's figure out what makes sense for you. And especially if somebody has kids at home. Yep, Lisa, you got it. That's right. And Lisa, did that help you sort of understand maybe better choices or different choices on foods, if you don't mind standing out on that? Nina, I know you got it. So if you don't mind, also, hearing if that did anything for you, if it was helpful for you to go through that booklet. I really like that booklet to think through a lot of things. There's a lot in it, and anybody can get it. You just go to, fliptheweightlosswitch.com. As a matter of fact, I think when I'm done with this live, there's gonna be a link below it on Facebook. So learn to choose the foods that are satisfying and then become aware of triggers. This is in that book also. Let me just see. It helped you know that you need to be more aware of choices. Excellent. That's, that's all, it's choices. And what's really cool is when you feel calm and good about where you're at, and like, oh, I don't have that emotion anymore. And Lisa, I saw some recent pictures of you, and you look really good. I saw you on vacation. Um, Thank you for posting photos, but you look great. And anyway, but when you can get rid of that deep-rooted subconscious stuff, then it's not driving your behaviors. So then it's a matter. That's why we need to look at, okay, what foods do you like? Which ones are going to help you? Which ones are going to hurt you? And then which ones trigger you? Now, sometimes it's not just food. Sometimes it's emotions, like we earlier talked about. We will, in my program, I will address those emotions, that we will not let any go away. It's actually going to be a 6-week program, and there'll be plenty of time to address if there's more than one emotion, which there usually is. It could be people. People might make you feel anxious about something, like somebody you're going to see, somebody that's going to show up, something you have to do, places. There could be certain places where you go, where you've been, that make you anxious. So that would really come up on the state of being and the emotion combined. To do a quick check here. You're welcome, Lisa. So, yeah, we want to be aware of the triggers. And then, once like, I'm going to use my daughter. She doesn't mind me using her. She, in about high school, she was playing soccer and such, and she started getting these pains in her gut. And, it's kind of nerve-wracking. You're the mom, and my daughter's getting these pains. What are they? I took her to the doctor, and the doctor wanted to put her on Nexium, the purple pill. I still remember this like it was yesterday. And I was kind of not sure that my daughter actually had whatever that was for, but I said, you know what, Dale, try it for 3 days. And somehow back then I already knew about the dairy thing. And I said, and if that's not helping you, I want you to give up gluten and dairy for 30 days, which were her favorite foods. Favorite. That means there was no Chick-fil-A for 30 days, because that was a big deal when she was in high school. And no cheese, no ice cream, bread. She loved that stuff, but that was out. And after the 30 days, she put back in, I think she did dairy first, no problem. Then she let the gluten in, problem, pain. Why am I bringing that up now? Because once you're aware of the problems, you know what they are. So Dale knows, if I eat bread, I'm going to feel pain. Okay, it's not going to kill her. She has no celiac disease, but could lead to something like that if you're not careful with sensitivities that become chronic. That's how I do a whole series on chronic illnesses, and they start because of a sensitivity that somebody doesn't pay attention to, and it gets the immune system, the white blood cells start going crazy, and then they get overworked, and then they get worn out, and then they stop working toward that sensitivity, and it gets blown out of proportion. And there are many autoimmune chronic diseases that will never be cured because of that. They will have to be managed, and many can be managed. But this is why you must know your triggers. You've got to know what sets you off, what things you do not feel well. And if you're not sure, we work on a elimination plan, just not to lose weight, just to see what's affecting you poorly. And like me, I'm going to use myself an example. I had to learn to love myself with compassion. I could love everybody else, but I couldn't love myself. So don't be sad for me. I figured it out. Better late than never. But we want to help people love themselves. That has a lot to do with our emotional wellness and our states of being. We want to learn to feel good about one day at a time. Big lesson. I think the older we get, the easier it is to understand that. Hey, I'm okay today. Leave me alone. I know my dear friend Debbie on here. Debbie's had her issues in the world and health, and one day at a time. Good day. We'll go for today. And a lot of us, Dorothy, a lot of us have had really need to focus on one day at a time. And it's really important. There's no reason to go project. That creates anxiety. Looking back could cause depression. So unless it's a happy thought, of course we want the happy thoughts. But to get anxious about things, stay in today. And I know a very tough time in my life, and I would wake up each day and I would say, am I going to get through today? And the answer was always yes. So focus on and deep breathing. Just learn your lymph system. Maybe you've heard of rebounding, just jumping on a trampoline, but you could do like jump rope on your floor, like not real jump rope, but like just kind of hopping and moving your arms a little bit. Any of that circulates in its community. If you're not physically moving, deep breathing and holding it, like breathe into 4, count to 2, and then let it go. That puts pressure on your diaphragm, which puts pressure on your lymph system, which activates your lymph system. So anything that you can do, not just regular breathing, but a deep breathing, a jumping, where you're exercising, it activates your lymph system and it improves your immunity. It gets your white blood cells going, it gets everything active. So it's a great thing to do. It's also a great way to de-stress. And exercise. Exercise, I want to say, for peace, for strength, for courage, wellness, versus simply to burn calories. Because again, if you're coming from the place of a compulsive overeater, the whole mindset is, oh my God, I just binged. Now I got to burn. I'm going to get fat. So there's this whole thing that happens, and it's a disease, sickness. I lived with it for most of my life. And so I want people to think of exercise as a way to really help their strength. And most of the people on here right now, actually all of you, are in my age group. And we all need to be concerned about our muscles. And our muscles are going to deteriorate as we age. So we've got to keep them strong. We have to keep our balance well. There are a lot of things that we must do if we want to age well and feel good. So focus on the exercise for all of the other reasons. Yes, you'll burn more calories, so it is going to help you with that, but that's not the only reason why we want to be focusing on that. And then we really want to pay attention to our feelings. Everything's about how you feel. Everything. It is how you feel. If you feel good, no matter what's happening, it's okay because you feel good. If you're not feeling good, then that causes other emotional and behavioral issues. So pay attention to how you feel. Know your old patterns, especially if you've had an opportunity to work with me. You've been able to remove some old patterns and replace them with new ones, new emotions. to empower you to improve your life. So pay attention and know what they are because it doesn't mean they're never going to show up, but it means that at a subconscious level, you pull them up from the roots. So they're not rooted. It might just be like a wave of information, like, oh, this used to be in my life, but not anymore. You can immediately say, oh my gosh, that's gone. Thank goodness that's gone. I'm going to focus on my empowering emotion. And really, that is what makes what I do so different from any other weight loss program and health program because your subconscious is where so much resides. And if people aren't getting to it and they're not helping you change that, then you're not going to get to the root of the problem. So that's what I know. I want you to watch me on various modes of social media. Next week, starting the 27th, it's a 5-day promotion blitz. And if you want me to tag you when I do them, tag me below right now if you want priority information because I'm only taking 10. I'm going to work very closely with 10 people, and that's going to help you get where you want to go in a 6-week period of time. It's going to help me get a lot of feedback and develop this app with real life scenarios. So if that's something that you want, just put tag me below and I will be sure to tag you when I do this. I will make note of that. And for anybody who's watching that has suffered from compulsive overeating or totally frustrated with dieting or yo-yo dieting or freaking out about like just if I was so frustrated with it, I had journals for years. And every time I started a journal, the first page would say something like lose 10 pounds. It didn't say figure out the root of your problem in your subconscious because I didn't know about that. But it just always 10 pounds. And I don't do that anymore. I don't have to worry about that for the last 11 years. And so there is a way out. Diets are not the answer for that, but subconscious clearing works. And, it not only works for food and it not only works for weight loss, it works for so many things. I mean, whatever problem. And, I focus on the weight loss and the food because that was my problem. But this works for anybody who wants to take a chance with me and trust me. It works for any of these emotional problems that drive behaviors that aren't healthy, that don't feel good. So I can't say it enough. I know it works. I'm excited to work with a small group of people and make this really exciting. So what I've shared with you today is what saved me 11 years ago. This is what gave me the strength, the courage, the wisdom to pull this program together in the last, I think I started it around July. And it's interesting that I'm ending on compulsive overeating because that's really was my beginning. That's how this whole thing started when I was 8 years old. And if you download the book, you'll see that picture of me and Debbie. I know you remember me as a little chubster. So, oh, good, Nina and Davita, thank you. I'm definitely going to tag you when I do these so you know about it. I'm excited. I am so grateful for all of you for showing up tonight. Um, Gosh, Debbie, Dorothy, Lisa, Nina, Patricia showed up. I haven't seen Trish on here for a while. Davita. So thank you guys so much. And Dorothy, it looks like you put a message in here. Yep. Bobby. We'll let Bobby talk about his own issues. But I heard he just lost some weight. So, and I know he cooks healthy. Yes, a divorce is really stressful. Anything can, oh, Davita just said, I'm not coming through quickly. Okay, not sure what happened, friends, but hopefully it's all good. Debbie, you think I'm adorable? It's because Debbie, I think you knew me. Well, I think Linda knew me before you. We went to nursery school together, but you were right there, 5 years old. I'll always remember that. And I love you all. I'm so grateful for you to be here. Thanks for making my last event of 2023 a spectacular one because you're here. And I will catch you soon. Watch my announcements and think of people you know that might want to be that one of those 10 people. All right. Love to you. Merry Christmas for everybody celebrating Christmas. Happy New Year. And we'll be in touch.